Thank you very much. I think Luis Nkembi again. I'm the chief vision driver of this these initiatives. Um, we have been witnessing that since 1901, the cross-river guerrillas that were identified to exist in the Nigeria-Cameroon cross-border region had been on the decline. A very wonderful population of wildlife. That means a lot to the conservation community. That means a lot to the local people. We see a lot of local people having them as their totems and using these animals for wonderful community initiatives. We see these animals disappearing. And so the local community, so the scientific community, conservation community came together since the late 1990s up to now to build a more consensus effort to stem the rate of extinction of this species and eventually reverse the degradation, the decline into a stable and growing population. And we are thinking that by 2050, we should be having a population of cross-river gorillas moving from the current 300 to 1,000. This is our goal, and we call this the media here today to work together with us to also inform you that we now have a community, cross-river gorillas community-led conservation alliance of community-based organizations and locally based organizations that we want to join forces with the governments of Nigeria and Cameroon and the international community to build a more consensus framework to ensure that these animals effectively survived and moved to the mark of 1,000 by 2050 and creating a more stable population. A stable population defined as that cannot decline. And we're looking at in the ranges of 600, 700 of these animals living in their ecosystem, but we're looking more interestingly at 1,000 to be more sure that decline will no longer be possible. We're looking also tell that once that happens, we're launching a massive ecotourism program that is going to bring high value tourists into these areas across both borders and pump in billions of money to support local economic development.
And what happens if urgent action is not taken now?
If urgent action is not taken and the 12 fragmented populations kept being fragmented, we are guaranteed that in the next 20 to 30 years, the animals will completely die off. Completely die off. In the absence of poaching, in the absence of forest, they simply, due to inbreeding, because the populations are fragmented, they will simply die off. And we will be losing natural heritage, we'll be losing billions of dollars, and we'll be losing so much that means to our local people who still live in these enclave areas.
How will the alliance work with forest dependent communities to make sure that they align with the goal and the livelihood of this particular community?
We are now working, we'll be working with community-based organizations that live there, that understand these people, and we'll be restructuring these groups into something legal that can attract support, because support is not going to come to individuals. So creating cooperatives, creating associations that will work with us to attract support to build enterprises, to set up community-based enterprises. Not, yes, this is the way forward to making sure that the community's priorities are prioritized. Because if they are not prioritized, they cannot live in cohabitation with animals.
Which are the areas that are going to be affected by this project?
Again, I said there are 12 fragmented locations across the Nigerian Cameroon border in Cameroon. We have the Tofala in Libilem, we have the Takamanda have a number of sites, we have Monet, we have Wambi Hills, we have Mamopoku, we have Opabulu Hills, we have Kawane. And so over Nigeria, we have in the Cross River National Park, yes. We have the Afi Mountains, we have the Mbe Mountains. We have a small number of local sites there. So on both sides of the international boundary, Nigeria and Cameroon, we are focusing on community. You remember we have international organizations that are also here. We are going to work in complementarity.
What do these communities stand to benefit from this new initiative?
We just said we are looking at launching a several billion fund of economic drive. If communities don't have a decent income, they will be the first factor to cause the animals to disappear. They must significantly see that the income they receive is greater than killing one single gorilla. And that is what we are calling here a decent income. So, and that is where what we want to focus on, and that's what we want to drive global donor. The global donor conference is going to significantly focus on giving money into the um, pockets of the communities through economic and financial investment. It's not cash. There's not coming to give them cash, but economic and financial investments in communities based on their local realities. We will not be dictating what is going to go to Opapulu, to Kawene, to Bay Mountains now. So our local community people know what is best for them, and so that's why we are now favoring investing a lot of financial support in building community capacity.